Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was saying I'm a little more caffeinated than usual, so buckle
Sweet.
up, buttercup.
Yep. We are going to ride that high. I love it. Oh, yeah.
um okay, so we're gonna leave it to us. We have 1 week talking about all the good things, and here we are. We feel compelled to
Boomerang.
not necessarily bad things. We're gonna
Right.
share common snafus that we run into that kind of muck up our process and are headache causing, I guess, in our day to
Right.
day.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Just on the campaign management side, the agency. I'm guessing brand teams go through this a little bit, but I think agencies more so because we're trying to satisfy two masters in some way.
I don't know. I just had, I'm extra caffeinated because I just met a client for coffee and they're doing some of their initiatives themselves this year. And they're running into some stuff
Mm. Yeah.
too. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So that's good to know that
yeah.
it's
And
everybody
if we have time,
hates
I'll
it.
share. She shared one particular snafu. We'll start with ours, but if we have time, I can
Okay.
share a snafu
Yeah.
of a friend.
Yeah, I have unfortunately have some that are extremely top of mind
Okay,
because
you go
we've
first.
just
Go
been going
get
through
it.
it.
Get it off your chest. I'm here for you.
So, one thing is deadlines, and deadlines sound so innocuous. It sounds like a date on a calendar, but the reason it becomes troublesome, as I was saying to you, it's not so much like, hey, I won't be able to turn in my content for review. Well, first of all, we never hear that. They just miss the deadline, right? You're just kind of twiddling your thumbs like, we put this in the contract. We put this in several emails. You signed off. This all looked good to you, creator, influencer. And then the day comes and goes. And, we don't necessarily, we do reach out and say, hey, how's that going? And I'm really deep into it without backing up and saying the point of this conversation with you, Danielle, is for us to, it's not just the thing that's troublesome, it's the downstream impact that we fear is going to happen. So when a creator misses a deadline, suddenly it's like, oh, are they not reliable across the board? Now, what is the content going to look like? If they've missed
Right.
the agreed deadline, maybe they missed the disclosures that we need, or maybe they missed the messaging or putting in the tracking link or any number of things that have to go right. And then that deadline just compounds. Like it just once there's a it's like a slippery slope. Once there's one delay, it feels like that influencer, the my mind tells me that influencer is going to be a delay full speed ahead. Everything is going to be missed, even if it doesn't end up like that. So it's not just the deadline, it's the what it does to my brain and my team's brain of like, oh, now we're extra managing this person, pulling resources into. That's why a deadline matters. So maybe this could be for the influencers listening and their managers, why these things are important, why they need to be buttoned up, why professionalism matters, because we're now all having to circle the horses
Right.
around this one
It's extra
person.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
it's only a 5-person deal, that's 20%, like it's pulling us out of. Anyway, you get it. What are your thoughts on deadlines?
I love a deadline. I love people who follow deadlines. That's one of the, I've talked before in our database of influencers, we have all the usual stuff, their follower count, age, gender, location, yada, yada. But if we've worked with someone before, we also have this kind of Yelp type rating system. If they've worked with us before, we rate the performance of their content, the quality of their
Hmm.
content, and then their professionalism. So did they get stuff in on time? Did they get their stuff in correctly? Did they follow instructions? This is a job. um, they are getting paid for doing this job. And just like, if you're going into an office every day and there is a document that is due on a Tuesday, the document has to get done on a Tuesday. Like,
Right.
the same rules of
Right.
professionalism apply whether you're working in a suit in an office downtown or working from your home or from a coffee shop as an influencer or creator. Like it's a job is a job, and there's a contract that has deliverables and timing and then money changing hands. And the way the contract works is that you do things the way that you're tasked to do them, and then you get paid. So
Right.
that's how I feel
Right.
about deadlines.
Yeah. Well, you've got a good outlook on it. It's rosy compared to, I think, what we end up. It feels fast and loose from the creator side. And I would argue, even if they have management, the management is more interested in negotiating the deal versus being really on top of
That's why
the
we got out
terms.
of that side of the business. So, when we launched the agency, we launched with 25 bloggers at the time, who we were exclusive to us, and we negotiated all of their deals. We got out of that business because if you're as an agent, you get a certain pretty low percentage of anything that gets negotiated,
Mhm.
which is fine. If, I mean, I always give this example, you're George Clooney's agent, you get him the maximum amount of money for Ocean's 86 or whatever movie
Yeah.
he's doing. And then, like, you
Yeah.
trust George to do his job, and he's
Yeah.
going to show up and he's going to get everything done and he's going to do it
Wait.
correctly.
Yes. George also has a manager, a PR person, a personal assistant, a whole team,
True, true, true. He has a
you
whole
know.
team.
Yeah.
Right. And so what we found was our number one first, we felt the greatest responsibility to the clients. That
Mm.
was just
Who in this
like
case were
at
the
the
bloggers.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
Like the
to the
clients
brands.
paying us money, the brands. At the
Okay.
end of the day, that's who we felt the greatest loyalty to. And it wasn't fair to the influencers for us not to, like, we didn't have the bandwidth to take care of the influencers as well as take care of the
Yeah.
clients, if that makes sense. And the amount of work required to, like, make sure things are done on time, make sure they're done well. Did you do this? Did you do this? Like, all of that babysitting that was required, like, that 10 to 15% that we were getting was not enough to cover that.
The
And that's
management.
that's a big piece of why we transitioned out of that
The
model, is that
right.
there was more management required than we had the desire or bandwidth to provide.
Yeah.
um
And fiscally speaking, charging the brand is more lucrative than the 15% onesie twosie deals from
right,
those back then from the
right,
bloggers.
right.
Yeah, and then speaking of deadlines, we've also had this experience recently of an influencer who's absolutely not interested in the deadlines. Like no, just clearly not swayed by anything we might say about deadlines. But when it comes to getting paid, oh, she was on our case about, what do you mean net whatever? And we actually pay very quickly once everything's buttoned up. But I didn't really even feel like telling her that. I didn't want to give her any, like, ammunition. And I really had to stop myself from going back to her and saying, "Do you know how many deadlines you've missed? Like, this content should have been live at the end of January and it just went live." That's part of why everything's being bumped later, but we don't, right? We don't say that. We don't get into like verbal. I wouldn't, because it would put the brand at risk. That's the other piece, is
Right,
if
right.
somebody's fast and loose with any of this
This is
protocol.
why I don't handle typically the back and forth with the influencers.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah,
I would be like, oh, you
it's
want to
true.
talk about deadlines, lady?
Yes,
Let's chat.
it's true. Having that layer of
Yeah.
anything in between, because we are professionals. We've built our businesses being professional and seeing the big picture. All right, moving on from deadlines,
Yeah.
or unless you have another deadline story, but I
No,
think you
no,
have
no.
something else
I have another
juicy.
snafu to so this,
Yeah.
I don't even, snafu is probably the wrong word. It's just fun to say. But we had one this morning. So I was checking my Slack and just looking at the various Slack channels. We have one for every campaign that we're working on. And we have a program that's just getting underway. And when influencers, and this is a micro influencer program. So they're all below 100,000. Most of them don't have agents at this point. When influencers of that size agree to work, or when they're selected for one of our campaigns, they check off that they sign just an overarching influencer agreement with us, and they check off for that particular campaign. I understand these are the deliverables. I understand this is the timing. I understand this is the usage. This is the exclusivity. I agree to all of the above. And it's
Mhm.
just kind of like a simplified
Yeah.
contract. So, as part of any campaign, there was, I think in this campaign, it was 3 months of paid usage for the content. So, the content went live, and we said, okay, we now need you to sign into our system and authorize us to run paid on your behalf, as you agreed to do for the 3 months. And we got back an email that said, oh, I agreed to paid usage, but that's from the brand. This is whitelisting through my profile. That is not what I agreed to.
Oh,
So that the snafu we're dealing with here is someone who does not understand terminology, does not understand that
definitions.
whitelisting is part of paid usage, is now gonna what's gonna here, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen now. We're gonna have to figure out a way to make this work with
Right.
her.
Yeah.
We're going to see how worked up she is. We're
Mm,
going to potentially have to spend more money than we budgeted because someone doesn't understand business language and agreed to something that she didn't fully understand. And this is now becoming our problem because our client loves her content and wants us to boost it.
yeah.
So that's
Oh,
one. So financially, well,
boom.
there's the
It's a
time
hit.
back and forth.
Yeah.
There's the potentially a financial hit depending on how much she wants to like dig in her heels on this.
Right.
And then now we're going to say, oh, is this the new stupidity that we're dealing with? So now do we have to go in, and when we say paid usage, do we have to and actually
Explicitly
we don't use the term whitelisting because we find it potentially offensive. We typically say
triggering.
boosting.
Yeah.
Can we just say boosting? Maybe this person wouldn't understand what that means and
Right.
use that as so do we have to say here's the paid usage. This includes all of the below with all of these terms, some of which are offensive. Don't look at the ones that are offensive.
Yeah.
So now we have to like change our documents.
Processing.
So it's going
Yes.
to cost us money. It's costing us time. Then it's costing us more time. Then we have to like update the things.
Yes.
Ugh.
I was going to point out that based on your experience, that's why you have that short form checklist, because you know the contract isn't enough. That can be so laborious for a creator or influencer to look through and note all of the things. So you've condensed it because you're like, this saves our butt later.
Right.
And to your point, now it's that learning curve, or is it also a level of not manipulation but greediness, like when creators see an opportunity to exploit vague language or their
We get
definition of
that
language,
We get that too a
you know?
lot. We get just they agree to a rate and then they get selected and they agree to a rate, we present them to the client agrees they're a terrific fit, we let them know they're on the program and suddenly they want
Balk.
more money.
Yes. We had that exact thing happen, super detailed in the compensation, both in outreach and in contracting and in follow up. Here's what you agree to, like so many different places. And it included a cross posting from Instagram to TikTok. And the influencer didn't do that. So we were like, hey, great, your content's live. Yippee, it looks good. Where's the TikTok? And we didn't say it like that. Where the F is the TikTok? But she got back to us and with an inflammatory email saying, hold up, I don't know what you're talking about. This is new to me. We're going to have to da 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 da. And again, we were like, what do you mean hold up? What do you mean us hold up? You hold up. Our team got back to her and said, here are all the places that we listed this out.
Like we have the receipts, we always have the
We
receipts, we're
have the receipts.
professional.
And would you, but with that, before we even did that, actually, I think our team said, before we share all of that with you, how do you suggest we proceed? Happy to jump on a call because a lot of times back and forth, whatever. in that time frame, the influencer wrote back and said, oops, my bad. I was doing 2 collaborations at once. This was for the other one. It's going to be fine. I'm not going to say she's lying. Either she's confused or she's CYA, because she literally said to us, the amount that you're paying me does not cover the TikTok. And then later said, oh yeah, this covers the TikTok. So which is it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I just injured my brain by rolling my eyes so hard.
Yeah. She's been very interesting.
Can you give yourself a concussion with eye rolling?
Or just banging our heads on the
Yeah.
wall because it feels good when we stop. And she is one that her content is performing beautifully, as we would expect. And we all agree it is not. She has cost us twice as much in frustration and time and anxiety and all of that to make it worth the performance of her content.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's such an easier decision when someone's a pain in the butt and their content didn't perform as well as you had hoped. And then you can just kind of like wipe your hands.
Yeah, like, haha. Not that we want content to not perform well, actually. It was a good call. It was a good call as far as including her in the program. And we saw what we saw come to life. And you just can never, from somebody's content and reviewing it and recruiting, know what they're going to look like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay. You got another one?
I know that I do.
I have another one if you need a minute to think. So this just happened to a former client of ours. I observed it. I thought, oh, that sucks for them. Maybe
Schadenfreude. She's only telling us that because she's over caffeinated.
One of the things that I find frustrating is when you are very clear about what the exclusivity is and influencers break it, don't understand it, misinterpret it, and then you have a post go up that is
flagrant.
That is a flagrant violation of that, even if it's not a paid post, even if it's just a like, we had this happen. Actually, it happened to us a couple of years ago. We were working with an influencer for the same client, and it was not quite obvious that a coffee plate, like a popular national global coffee shop, would be a competitor. And she was doing like just posting in her stories stuff she does throughout her day, and she showed that she was going to this coffee place that was a violation of this particular exclusivity. It wasn't a paid post, it was an organic post, but
that's the point of an exclusivity clause.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or
can be.
It was a pain in, like, when that happens, like, one, like, your heart drops when you see it, and you like just like pray that you see it before the client sees it, so that you're the one who's giving the client the heads up, that the client's not discovering it before, God forbid,
you look
before
like,
you do, so that we look like ding dongs. So like, so then you have to reach out to her, you have to reach out to the client, you have to re-explain what the exclusivity means, and that that's
a no-no.
Right.
Yes.
So it has happened to us. It happened to this client of ours last week with a very high profile influencer they were using, and I'm sure they were all bummed.
It's delicate. That exclusivity piece can be just a killer in terms of traction with the right influencers, or, I think there's many brands who overstep in their exclusivity expectations, but this is a great snafu. It's very nuanced, and it's not always lack of professionalism on the part of the influencer. To your point,
we've also
it's kind
learned
of an oversight.
Yeah, we've also learned over the years that there are some areas within exclusivity that are kind of fuzzy, and we have to really drill down with our clients to make sure we understand what their expectations are, so that we can properly recruit and then properly communicate those expectations. So for example, if we're doing a program with a large retailer, What if we're working with an influencer who regularly, who's an Amazon affiliate and posts, so they're not promoting Amazon. They might not even be saying the name Amazon, but they are putting links to their outfits that they're wearing every day or the items that they have, and that there's Amazon affiliate links and all these things that they're posting. If we're doing a program for another large retailer,
Mhm.
sometimes clients care if there's affiliate links to a competitor. Sometimes affiliate links fall outside of
Mm.
their realm of caring.
Yeah.
So we've kind of learned over the years that you really have to drill down, like, what are your expectations? Because we don't want to accidentally screw this up.
I feel like back in the day, that was totally off verboten to have a sponsored post with affiliate links. It was like you're double dipping
I'm not the same post. I'm
outside
saying they
of
post,
their other
like
content.
I'm
Yeah.
making up brands, but like
Yeah.
they post, we're doing a program with Target. They do their sponsored post for Target on Tuesday. And then on Thursday,
Right.
they're posting, what's in my bag. And they share a bunch of links to Amazon that are affiliate.
And that's actually an interesting snafu opportunity in working with the brand side team. We're right now we have programs going on that the brand wants a certain type of influencer that make their money on daily product reviews and constant, and then they want to say for like 3 months you can't mention our competitors. Well, then are you paying them for 3 months? Because I know you're not. Like, I know the budget that we've got, and that's a snafu on the brand side where we often regularly, committedly go back to them and say, "You've got to expand the scope of who you'll work with here." Because yes, that ideal avatar influencer is your target, but it's really expensive. And it's going to get more expensive even for us to represent you and help you as an agency, because we're going to be churning through options
Mm-hmm.
and people and not be able to find you somebody as quickly. So when Danielle and I talk about snafus, it's not only always or only just the creators that are bringing these things about. Sometimes it's the expectations of the brand
Yeah.
or agency we're working
Yeah.
with.
And I mean, we learn new, like I was saying before, how, now we're going to have to update our definitions of paid usage in these
Yeah.
contracts that we do. But like, I don't know. I think back to starting 15 years ago and figuring this out from scratch. And, I look at our contracts now and how complex they are. And I look at our creator briefs and all the things. Almost everything that we've added has come through trial and error and
Yeah.
having something go wrong and being like, oh, okay, that's a thing that can go wrong. Now we know.
Whack-a-mole.
And
Yes.
now we're not gonna, that's never gonna happen to us ever again. You
Except
know, like,
I swear to you, if you pull the archival podcast from a year ago, we had a conversation about how creator media kits were now coming in with all this itemized bullshit,
yes.
paid whitelisting, non-compete, exclusivity, blah, blah, blah. And you and I were ringing, like shaking our fists, like, this is too much. And now here we are. You've adapted the contract, you're dialed in. And we spend so much of our time chasing definitions, chasing clarity. And I would argue there are influencers out there who will give us the benefit of the doubt and we can give them the benefit, but you just don't know
Yeah.
who those are.
Yeah.
Like that needs to be on your media kit, people. Put it, I will work with you. I'm easy to work with. I'm not looking to nickel and
I think
dime you.
also sometimes you have to, I think everyone has to give each other the grace to, like, we're all doing the best we can. Like, I think you have to, clearly there are some bad actors out there. But I think it's helpful to give people the grace to know that sometimes we're just kind of having to figure this out because something. I'll give you an example. We have a client and, we're working with an influencer. There was a certain length of time of paid usage and organic usage. And the organic usage is very clear that it's just for digital. So not like a billboard or something
Right.
like that.
Packaging.
So the
Mhm.
client came to us and they said, we love this content so much. We are going to be at the state fair and we would like to play this video content in the
The wall
Coliseum
of okay. Oh.
on the Jumbotron
Oh, Jumbotron.
during the cattle something something that's happening there. Is
Please
that
tell me it was a
included?
dance, a
Is
cattle
that
dance.
included in organic usage?
Right.
Fuck if I know if it's included in organic.
That's our literal official position. Oh, yeah. Because we come from that,
Well, but we
agricultural world, we've dialed in on that piece because we know,
okay.
like, you used to
So
wanna use
is
it in
it
recipe
we paid
cards.
we just said, you know what, we were not explicit with the influencer that stuff like this would be included.
Yeah, I think you're
We
right
think that
to
we can pay her not a ton of money, let her know how much they love the content, that we are so excited to show it. We are going to pay you a little bit extra. Like, let's just like cut off any like possible confusion. We don't want to ever feel like the influencer feels like we're taking advantage
sure.
of
Yeah.
them. And
P.S.
yeah,
Okay, for all the brands and even agencies listening to this, wondering why you would hire Danielle, why you would hire me, it's because we understand how to turn that into a win-win and make everybody feel good,
yeah,
turn it into an opportunity where it could have been a roadblock. So kudos to you because that's exactly the right approach versus let's try to sneak one by them or
yeah,
I don't know, any number of things like advocating to make the creator influencer feel good about the relationship
yeah,
is always the priority. So you've avoided what could be a snafu on the
right.
brand side right there.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Well,
yeah.
that's a happy note to end on if we want to wrap this up.
I think we probably should.
We found our way back to some
To
positivity.
joy, yes.
Yeah, to joy. Slow down. I don't know about joy.
I think I need to have this second caffeinated drink every day. I'm
Yeah, now
feeling
we
good.
know.
Yeah.
Well, this has been delightful.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.